Welcome to Bridges to Alignment with Britt Bridges, Wellness Reimagined. This is a safe, transformative space where we explore energy healing, natural wellness, and the connection between mind, body, and soul. Through light, sound, and intention, you'll discover practical ways to align your energy, heal from within, and reconnect with your deepest self. This is your bridge to healing. This is your bridge to alignment.
Hello, welcome in. Welcome to Bridges to Alignment, Wellness Reimagined. I'm your host, Britt Bridges. Thank you so much for those who are new today. Love new viewers. Sending you so much love and energy and appreciation. Drop us a line, comment, tell us where you're from. Been getting folks from all over the world on the show here as guests and as viewers. It's so cool to see where everyone's coming from. And then, of course, to our returning viewers, thank you. We're so grateful here at Everything Frederick Live and at Willow Well. Truly grateful for your time and energy, because energy is a currency. We talk about this all the time, that everything is energy. You are energy. I am energy. And this is not woo-woo, guys. This is all comes from the basic principles of physics and quantum physics. So I encourage you today to enter this safe healing container with an open mind and heart. If there is information today that you hear that maybe isn't something you've heard before, or maybe you don't immediately subscribe to because it's new, I encourage you to take a little mental note and then go into prayer and meditation later. Go inside of your heart, right? Go inward, tap into your intuition and ask, is this something that agrees with me? Is this something that resonates with me? Because that's really how we're supposed to be operating in life in general. We're not just supposed to be walking around going, I believe that, I believe that. Like you hear something on the internet and go, I believe that. What we're really supposed to be doing is using our discernment, our intuition. And so that's what we talk a lot about on this show, is discernment and intuition. And in fact, if you're interested in learning more about how you can deep dive into your intuition, build it up stronger, and use that in your daily life to your advantage, I encourage you to visit willowwell.org and check out workshops available to you, because in these workshops I have created, they are to help you to build your intuitive abilities and skills and help you thrive using your body's own energy. So that's exciting stuff. And yeah, I got to show you this because I like to show this every show. But essentially, this is what I'm talking about, that we're energy. That's the electromagnetic field that exists around our body, guys. And you probably are asking, well, why can't I see that? Well, the answer to that is that the human eye only sees 0.0093% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light and color. You believe that? So that's why you can't see that. That's why they have all this cool machinery and devices that can pick up the light that our eyes can't see. This is actually can be picked up by imagery by scientists. So I want you to get into that mode, get into that understanding that everything is energy, that energy has no ending. It just continues like an infinity in a loop. And think about that. You're dealing with things during your day, okay? If you're noticing that negative cycles or loops keep occurring, that's when you got to think about it in terms of energy. Oh, this just keeps looping and looping and looping. That is a neural pathway, a circuit that is created. How can I shift this? How can I change this? And what I work with my clients on is learning how to transmute energy. So taking something that's low frequency and transmuting it and alchemizing it into something that's higher frequency. That is actually possible. And so today we're actually going to have a guest from Poland. This is actually a friend of mine and colleague. She works in the energy space and the academia space. And she is here today to talk about voice medicine, or using our voice to help energetically heal mind, body, and spirit. And we're going to do a little something different today. We're actually going to have Agata do our nervous system regulation activity just to get us into a calm, receiving mindset. And before we call her in, I want to do a little intro so you know a little bit about her. Agata Pawlina, she again is joining us from Poland, and she's a classically trained singer, intuitive songstress, and Gene Keys guide. She has a PhD in linguistics and over a decade of experience in academic teaching and exploring the physical and metaphysical dimensions of the embodied human voice. So today she's going to tell us all about her, what she does. She's going to impart wisdom on you on how we can use our voice as medicine. And so without further ado, Agata, how are you today? Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Brit. Thank you for having me. I'm great.
Good. What time is it over there where you're at?
It's 7:30.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, right? Evening.
So interesting to me to think that it's like you're getting dark and we're still in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's a bit of time yoga, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking to kick off this episode that we have you get us and the viewers into a nice state of parasympathetic mode of taking our body out of fight or flight, putting us to a calm, relaxed state so we can receive all this beautiful information that's going to be coming through today. What do you think about that?
Yes, I would love to do a little attunement, because actually this is all what I'm doing. It's like I would love to show you and give you an experience how you can use at first my voice, when I will give you this sort of experience of my voice, of embodied voice, and how it can change or shift your frequency. So you can just see how your body feels when you are receiving the embodied voice. And you can then join me. So we'll see how it goes. I would love to do that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're ready for you. And what I recommend always is find a comfortable seat. You can lie down, you can sit up. Obviously, if you're driving, I would recommend keeping your eyes open. So just enjoy this, and we're ready for you.
Yes. So let's do exactly that. Let's find a comfortable position. Let's take together a few deep breaths. Let's just, don't do anything with your breathing. Because what I always feel is like when people are hearing about toning or chanting or singing or breathing techniques, there is this sort of performer or this thing that we are starting to judge our current state. So I invite you not to judge your breathing. If you are breathing in the top of your chest, it's okay, just leave it there. If you're breathing a little bit lower in your body, it's perfect also. So just observe your breath. And observe your mind chatter, which probably is somewhere there. It's morning for you, then just leave the rest of the day for a few seconds, few minutes, just put aside all your tasks and meetings and plans for today. And if it's the end of the day, like in my case for you, leave your day that you just spent, whatever you did, however you've been today, just leave it aside for a little bit and just come down to your body. Just observe what's happening to your body when you listen to my sound. Keep breathing, and when you feel ready or inclined to join me, you can just invite your sound to join your breath. And again, it's not about producing a sound or making a sound. It's about inviting your sound, your unique vibration, into your body, however it wants to join you. So actually, the sound is helping breath. It prolongs our breathing. So I invite you today to just experience this other way of thinking about your own voice. Don't treat your voice as a tool for, producing a sound, but just invite it as an organic wave, organic sound that is part of you. Relax your jaw, your neck. Thank you.
Wow. I feel so
You're
relaxed. And when you came on to sing or to use your voice, I just could feel the resonance. Just it went from like my crown all the way down every chakra into the ground, and just it was beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that.
You're so welcome. I'm glad that you had something for yourself from that.
And I think that was the perfect way to begin and really exemplify the power of the voice and thinking about it, like you said, from a different perspective, right? Not as if it's just a tool to talk or communicate, but rather a tool to heal the body. And so I think this is a good time to talk about our voice as a sound healing vibration and deep dive a little bit more into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I trust that you had this sort of feeling how that can work. And I feel like in the healing energy work communities, spiritual communities, the science of sound healing or sound medicine is quite, we are quite aware of how it works. We go to sound baths, we take those like sound healing sessions and all that. And for me, the treating our voices, our own sound, we are the instruments, treating our bodies as instruments for sounding, for healing, for, regulation, really, like nervous system regulation, is a next step, is something that anyone who is quite aware about how energy works, how we have vibration, we have frequency, we have resonance, right? Those are the words that we are using in energy healing spaces, but also there are simply terms from acoustics, right? So me, myself, I sort of see the world musically and I see human beings as musical creatures. But it doesn't mean this duality of being a musician and a performer, and then the audience, the receiver of the performance. I think it's time to sort of collapse this, those two dimensions of someone who is, making sounds to heal us or to just have entertainment to receive the sounds from the outside.
There's like meaning we have it, like we don't need to go anywhere or outsource it because we literally have the instrument, which is our voice. I love that.
Exactly. So I trust that this is the next step, because this is very empowering when you start to see your own body and your own voice as your tool that you don't need to spend any money on, you don't have to outsource it. It's all that you said at the beginning. We have our discernment. We don't have to go outside. All we do is like getting us, humanity, back inside, back to our inner guidance, our inner, intuition, guidance, and inner wisdom. And what I discovered in my journey around the voice, our voice holds this wisdom. Our voice, if we learn to listen to it, to have this deep listening of our voices, like we can listen our voices through all our bodies. We can listen, which actually is feeling. Do I feel my voice? Am I here in my head? Can you hear that the frequency is changing when we are talking heads? And actually, our voices can really go deeper and anchor us back into our bodies.
The depth I could hear.
You can hear scientifically you call it resonance, right? When I'm here, I'm cut off. It's even, I'm not an English native speaker. So it's my accent is changing everything, because I'm suddenly here and I'm speaking from here, and I can't do it a long time because then my throat is sore. And what I observe when we would listen to, a lot of, people on television, something, politics, journalists, a lot of them are speaking like that. And it's I personally can't listen to it, because I know that it's not even their information that they are, putting through, that it's not filtered through their biofield, because they are here. They are not allowing the full vibration to drop into body. So, we can.
So almost through voice. Yeah. Real quick, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just don't want to forget. But almost through our voice and hearing others' voices, we can use discernment to go, oh, are they really speaking from an embodied, honest state? Or are they speaking from I don't want to say shallow, but just a state of non-embodiment, right? Yeah. And then that can help us to use our intuition of okay, maybe this is or is not a trustworthy source.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's I think we are, as humanity in our culture, is so visual. So we are we know that we judge people by how they look, how they present themselves. But I propose another level. If we start to listen, to not to focus so much on the visual part of the person, but if we get into this listening, we have another layer of information. And well, in my case, it's actually my main level of information I am getting. But every single human being can use this tool, because when you are aware of that, you can feel it immediately when I'm here or not here. So we can hear when somebody is in this embodied state, in stress. Just observe ourselves. It's when we are nervous, we're starting to shout. When we are fighting with somebody, verbally, we can observe ourselves. It's like, I'm not even in my body. I'm so like, trying to force my whatever state of mind onto other person. And in such a situation, we can observe ourselves that our voice goes higher, our body goes higher. It's like voice is very much an indicator of embodiment. If I would, try to define it quickly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a pause now and hear from some local sponsors, and we're going to be right back because this is getting really interesting. I don't want there to be any interruptions.
Sponsored by Lawn Squad. Quick and easy quote, and you can be on your way to having the best lawn in the neighborhood. Watch the progress as Brian from Lawn Squad brings Danny's lawn back to life. Visit lawnsquad.com. Sponsored by A&S Construction is a local and award-winning woman and minority-owned business located right here in Frederick, servicing Frederick County and surrounding areas. A&S Construction specialize in roofing and siding, windows and gutters, and they can even build you a new patio or deck. Call 301-703-2157 or email info@ansconstruction.net. You can get $750 off any roof or siding replacement or $50 off any roof repairs. Just tell Sandra that Danny sent you. Sponsored by Intense Barbecue. Family-owned barbecue food truck and catering company cooking in small batches to ensure that the food is the freshest it can be. Intense Barbecue can cater your events, and they do any kind of food. It doesn't have to be barbecue. Find them at sebbq.com and satisfy your meat tooth.
Welcome back. So I thought of something I wanted to ask based on the conversation up to this point, and that is, tell me about singing. Like, we're just in the car and we're singing. And I mean, obviously being mindful of the words that we're singing, because we know how powerful words are. But is that something that you recommend that we do, is just kind of turn the music up in the car and just sing? And then that can help to really balance our body and put it into a regulated state?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question. The answer is not that straightforward, actually, because it would also depend, is your singing voice tensed or not?
Okay.
Because there is this, of course, it's great. If you feel great, you want to shout in your, car and whatever. Yeah, if your body feels good doing that, then perfect. But then we need to remember that in our culture, there's some projections about singing. So I observe a lot of people who think they can sing, or they don't think they can do that. So they sometimes would, never use their voices. They would never open their voices enough, or they would be stressed that if I want to sing, I have to do it in a certain way. And if somebody, when I was 5 years old, told me that I don't have voice, that I can't sing. So sort of this Western culture deprived us partly of this sort of joy of singing, and just, singing because I like to sing, because we have all those, jokes that, oh, you're just singing under your, shower or whatever. And yes, I do. If I feel joy with that, then of course it's great. Singing is so healthy activity. It's like it moves, the breath connects the whole body, and then you feel this opening, you can feel the vibration of your voice. So by all means, yes, all sorts of singing is great. But I think that some people would think that it's not healing if I just sing or shout. So I would propose to start with humming, because humming is so natural. It's like, we can hum when we are happy, when we are sad, and it's like if we don't have this sort of projection of being a singer or not being able to sing when we just hum. So some of those mental things can be, off when we start with singing, with humming. And humming is also like, for me, humming is like you are giving yourself, it's like very intimate with yourself, because you are giving the massage from the inside. It's like this yoga, but from the inside of your body. And there is also a lot of science now, some, research about how, the humming is helping the vagus nerve to regulate, because there are a lot of, nervous, like things in our larynx. Sorry.
Because it's all connected to the nervous system, right?
Exactly.
Everything in our throat.
So humming is very like
to our spine. If you look at like the anatomy of the spine, right? All the nerves coming off of it and going up into the throat and up into the brain. Yeah.
Yes. Like our throat is like a bridge between, what our mind wants to say and what our body is experiencing. So when we treat our throat as a bridge between, mind and body, and then you have this pillar of, we can say pillar of light, right? But then sound is also this, frequency is the another level. So we are also a pillar of sound.
Because sound collapses into light, right? Do I have it backwards? Sound collapses into light. Okay.
So the sound becomes the light. So we can also, when we, for example, hum or tone, we can imagine ourselves as these tubes for sound, like a trumpet, right? Or whatever. So if you are like good in, visual, from visual to auditory. So we are the pillar of light, yes. And then if you can start to think about yourself, you are the pillar of sound. You are the, this tube of sound. It also bridges your physical body to this structure. Because, for example, for me, light, it's still visualizing. It's still a little bit, consciousness mindy, a little bit in the cloud. And then when I put sound into it, I am immediately in the now moment. Because also, if you could think about it this way, music and sound, it's also something that needs time to exist. You can't have music, you can't feel music, hear music if there is no time. So when you're starting to sound, you are immediately in the moment because time is there. Yeah, right? That's also something powerful.
Interesting. Yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned humming, because there's mantras, right? There's from the Ayurvedic medicine, they use mantras, and I use those. I teach my clients those because they are so healing for the chakras. So it was interesting you mentioned humming, because I made that correlation. Like, okay, that makes sense why that is integrated into that Eastern medicine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes, but with the mantras, it's interesting that you even brought it up, because for me, mantras, I never use them. I can use only Om. Because, well, that's all there is. So that's the natural one. I use vowels in my practice because, and I was asking Spirit, like, why? So when you use mantra, there is a, linguistic layer on it. So there is this sort of ego comes in, where even when you do a consonant and not a vowel, you have ego because you want to produce a consonant. And when you have a vowel, like, there's no interference because I don't have to produce anything. I'm just opening my mouth. And when I have mantra, there is like this layer of, meaning, linguistic meaning, but also even producing, like the sound producing wise. And another thing that I've learned using my own discernment, like what my spirit would tell me is like the mantras were used for such a long time on Earth. They work as energetic beings, like a sort of egregore, but in positive way, not negative. Like they have the weight of time. So people who use mantras, you just always use your discernment. because at some point I wanted to do mantras, because it's like, I'm such, sound is everything for me. So why can't I just use mantras? And well, for me, it's like, it's not for me. It's like, because it has this weight of energetic weight, which is not for me. So that's also something, to relax if someone is not feeling well with this mantra or that mantra. And there's this stress that everybody are doing mantras and they are getting healing. They are feeling better and I'm not. So again, relax and have the discernment and switch to humming or vowels.
Yeah, and I think it's intentions. I mean, we talk about this too on the show all the time, right? That everything is about intentions, because intentions are putting extra energy into a thought. So it makes that thought even more powerful. So whenever I am doing my mantras, I am very intentional about it, but I love this idea of the vowels. Now, have you found that these vowels correlate to like the different chakras, or like how does that work for you?
Yeah, for me, definitely. And I would recommend to check Stuart Pearce's The Alchemy of Voice, or Chloe Goodchild's Naked Voice. They are touching upon those things. For me, it's all about discernment. So I would never go into, vowel A is always for this, or vowel E is always for this. But there are I could say that for me, A is very connected to heart chakra, lower, higher, like this like chest area. And E is for more like mindy, because it's very, I think it's connected to the shape of the vowel that we are making when we are producing a vowel in our mouth, in our like singing apparatus or speaking apparatus. So E is a high vowel. It's like E, it's very penetrating. So it's really like mind for me. I is more like more like heart. And I discovered that O and U, because they are very deep in the throat and they make the throat very wide and open. For me, it feels like grounding. So root, sacral, this like lower chakras. So for me, it's like I have those trinities of chakras. So I would use U, O for three lower chakras, then A, U for heart and solar plexus, depending, a little bit of throat, and then E and F for the higher chakras.
I love that. And I think it's important that we say that, play around with it, right? Because it can be different for everybody. And I think what's most important too is when you do use those vowels, feeling where you're feeling the vibration in your body, right? And
exactly.
Yeah, and allowing that to amplify the healing of your whatever intention you set.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And just like allow, if you want to use a vowel to your healing, again, start with humming and then allow your body what shape your mouth wants to do. That's always good, because the humming would give you a sound like and I felt like grounding, right?
Yeah.
So just observe and listen, like this deep listening with the whole body. Yeah.
I love that. And now you study linguistics, correct? Yeah. So how many languages do you speak?
Are we going there?
I'm just curious. I'm very intrigued by linguists. I think it's a gift, like an innate gift, to be able to speak so many languages.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5, and the level would be. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I don't have much understanding why I have these like 2 paths, but I'm starting to join them together, because even what we are talking about now, the information about the vowel or about the linguistic programming comes from my like linguistic education, and singing is from my classical singing education, but also I've always sung. So it sort of start to combine itself in a way.
I love that. Yeah, how it's this like synergy between the two.
Yeah, it's very like intellectual, academia part of me. And now it's, just more like divine masculine stuff and divine feminine intuitive voice embodiment. So it's like starting to just getting into this resonance, and that it actually makes sense to
I love
have
that.
this background too. Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on speaking out loud? Because that's one thing in my spiritual practice is I'm finding that speaking out loud is extremely powerful. And I don't know if it's maybe because I am using my voice and very passionately and projecting it depending upon the circumstance. But is that something that you would recommend if we're like doing manifestation work or we're, getting emotions out, etc.? Do you recommend that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's again the power of resonance, the power and you can also again observe yourself when you are starting to, you have an intention or you want to manifest something, you want to use your voice, the power of your voice to, well, empower yourself to manifest something. I believe that when you start to speak the words aloud, it gives you this opportunity to listen to yourself and you can discern, is it actually coming from my heart or from my body, or is it just my idea? So again, we can add another layer to like sort of physical projection of our voice when we start to observe it, listen to it. Because then, when we have this chatter in our mind, or even the intention in our mind, it's in our mind, right? It has this vibration, but it's in our mind. And then when I hear myself speaking that, I can check. Is it my thought? Is it my idea? Is it, my desire of my heart? Or is it just, the ego or the fear or whatever? So
I love that. I love that.
Again, use discernment. And
it to me, when you were explaining that, I was like, it was literally like connecting the dots of all the senses, essentially, right? So it's encouraging us to use all the senses, and really we're supposed to be using all of our senses, right? Because that's what builds our discernment, our intuition.
Yeah. So we really, as humanity, I think we should remember that we all have voices, because voice is also, we can understand it physically, but also metaphorically. So when you think metaphorically, so many people in the world are deprived of their voices. They don't have voice, right? So when we add this layer, like this metaphorical layer, to this physical layer, then we are giving ourselves our voices back. When we're starting to really take care of them in a way, giving our attention to our voices, not to voices of others, which are like bombarding us from everywhere. So I feel,
and that really goes back to self, right? Is giving yourself, taking your power back for yourself, giving yourself a voice. And then we all know, right, with quantum physics, and there's a quantum field, and then that ripples out, and then that helps others to find their own voice. And really we are, in my opinion, we've entered that stage of we're finding our voices right now. That's why I thought this was such a powerful message today to share with everybody is, being empowered to find their voice, because that's really what's going to make this world a better place, is when we find our voice.
Yeah. In each of us individually, uniquely, each of us has very unique, it's like our voices are like fingerprints. So I just love when someone is starting to speak with their own voice. They are usually like, when we start the session, someone would talk and I would hear that it's not in their body. And when they are starting to feel their voices in the body, the voice is different. The voice has this unique ringing, and, it's like, again, judgment and competition. You can judge and compete when you know that you are unique, that your voice is unique. And again, metaphorically and physically speaking. And about empowerment and manifestation, something that came to mind now, there is also the science of cymatics, right? Maybe you've heard about it. And they discovered that actually two things that were fascinating to me. That the sound is actually not really a wave, but when we make a sound, it's actually a bubble. So it's like a bubble, which is like going out. And that, for example, if you want to sing to the sun, like the sound never ends, so it will get to the star, it will get to the sun someday in this, quantum field. So it's when you make a sound, I think it's again back to this empowering ourselves to speak our, desires, our truth with a sound aloud. There is this layer of when you make a sound, it's like manifested. It's there. You can't take it back. Right? It just
That's
goes.
powerful.
Like the cymatics and physics are starting to see that is actually, it's a, this energy that is just out there in the cosmos forever. So maybe we should start, to take care how we are talking and what we are talking about, and which, as you said, which words we use. It's again this sort of linguistic part. Our minds are programmed by our linguistics, right? How we talk about ourselves. How powerful is that? We know that on a spiritual path, right? When we discover how we think about ourselves, what we speak to us about ourselves, right? So yeah, it's so powerful. It has so many levels.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think this conversation really gives us the opportunity to stop and think about how important our words are, how important our voices are, and how it really can make the world a better place. And just being mindful that if you are spewing negative things, just know that there's, the law of vibration and the law of attraction, and it's going to come back to you. So just being mindful of that too, right? That what we're sending out there, and that whatever sound waves we're sending out there, or sound bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. They're all around us.
They're all around us. Yeah. That's fascinating. What would be really cool is eventually if they can get imagery and show that in our environment. That would be really cool. Well, before we wrap up here, I want to invite you to, is there anything else that we wanted to mention? And of course, I would love to hear more of your singing if you're open to serenading us a little more to close up this episode today. But of course, we don't want to miss anything. So if there was anything that was worth mentioning, now is a good time. I think we did good though on our points. Yeah.
The message is discernment, empowerment. Remember, you have a voice and you can use it with discernment and with love, and love to yourself, to your body. And just explore, how do you sound today, right? How do you feel today? How are you feeling? How do I sound? Is my body like happy and resonating, or am I like flat and in my head? It's just maybe another tool for you.
Another opportunity to kind of do that self-check-in and listening to your voice. I love that. And if you are interested in learning more about Agata, we have all her information in the description. You can find her website. You could find the different programs that she offers. And also, Agata, what is your handle on Instagram or whatever social media platform that we could send folks to if they want to follow your work?
Yeah. I invite you to join mine. Like Instagram, it's Life Chantress.
Can you spell that, please? Life. Life.
Chantress with CHATRSS, like chant, chantress.
Oh,
chanting.
Is there an N in there? CHNT. Oh, perfect. Got it. We want to add it so they have access to it quickly. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So if you want to take over and close us out today, we'd appreciate it. I'm so thankful to have you here, and so thankful to all our viewers as well. We love you guys. Drop us a line. Let us know what you thought about this content today. If you want to hear anything else for future episodes, we love to hear feedback. And of course, we're so thankful for everything Frederick Live. And then we're going to have you take it away. Go ahead, Agata. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So let's enjoy this moment of getting us back to embodied voice, embodiment. If you feel you're in your head, you can do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for joining Britt Bridges on Bridges to Alignment. If this message spoke to you, be sure to like and subscribe for more conversations on energy healing, natural wellness, and living in alignment with your highest self. Bridges to Alignment is proudly part of the Everything Frederick Live podcast network and can be rewatched anytime on the Everything Frederick Live YouTube channel. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep aligning with the life you are meant to live.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live podcast network. Your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube. This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live podcast network. Your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.